Hello, welcome back to Chatters DIY. I know it's been a while, but come back with a bang. We're doing another bunk bed, one of my favourite projects to do. Probably one of my most successful videos as well. So basically, when I did the junior bunk bed some years back, the lad who that was made for, he now needs one around his dad's house. So his dad's drafted me in to do another one. So here we go. This time it's going to be a full-size bed rather than a junior bunk bed like he had last time. The challenge with this one is it's a box room, as I said on the thumbnail and the title. It's a very common problem in Britain, and so I hope this helps. Building a bespoke bed is a really big solution to this problem. Basically the idea is raise the bed up off the floor, open up all that floor space, and it allows you to put other furniture underneath according to what you want. In this particular case, it's going to be kept a little bit lower because we want a little nook underneath, a little chill out cubby under the bed, which will be for what he needs. But you could raise it up even higher and put a chest of drawers, desk, TV mount, even a hanging rail off one of the ladder rungs. So yeah, it's a very limited space. It's 1905 millimeters in length, the room. It literally has a mattress touching both ends. So yeah, very limited on space. Probably not able to buy a bed off the peg anyway for this, especially one of this type. And you'll see I've combated that in the design, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so this is the plan for the bed. All I've done here is like a bit of an exploded drawing of the side panel and or the side frame and the ladder. I haven't bothered putting the ladder rungs on there because that speaks for itself. There's a little brace here at the bottom. There's space for 3 ladder rungs. Then there's an end piece here which these 3 rails will slot into and then be fixed. There'll then be a separate little matching end panel that fits onto this end, which I'll show you later. And at the top of this side of the ladder rung, there's 3 more spaces, basically for the top 2 rails to dead end into, and then that bottom rail will go straight the way through, and that ladder rung then acts as a vertical support. And then this ladder rung then, because it's will be up against or very close to the wall, we'll just stop at the height of there. So when you get to the top of the ladder, sorry about that, when you get to the top of that ladder, you then climb onto the mattress directly. A cut list there, which I've had to make some alterations to as I've gone. So just making the ladder slightly narrower and fine-tuning some of the measurements for the room size, compensating for the walls being slightly out of square, things like that. I've got a little breakdown of the measurements for this piece here, which will be replicated 3 times for the 2 ends of this very end panel, which is only going to be short. And again, I'll go into that a little bit more detail later. So these are the side rails of the mattress base or platform. I've screwed them together temporarily because they're not going to be seen anyway from the sides once the side frame is fitted on this face. So this hole here is going to be covered up. What I've done is I've just marked out all the places along here where there's going to be effectively the bed slats, which is also going to be made out of the 3x2s. That's done in this particular case because I'm after an extra strong resilient bed. It's not your average customer, so we have to try and make this one as strong as possible. So I'm cutting out these 25mm deep to fit the other 3x2 pieces at 930mm going across, and obviously these 2 pieces, once all these are cut out like here, then once all the rest of them are actually all cut out, then these will be unscrewed, and then we've got a header and a footer piece, and I'll set up a stop block over at the miter saw and we'll cut out all the 930 pieces and slats for the middle. Right, so now I've consulted the cut list that I've already drawn up, and I've cut all the pieces. So here's the ladder rung 1 and 2. This one obviously comes right the way up to the top of the top rail, so that's 6 foot tall. The head clearance underneath that bottom rail, which is where the mattress platform is going to be behind there, that's 4 foot clearance of headroom underneath. And then this space here is going to be taken up by the mattress. And then we've got the top rail. This will be the end piece. This is cut to length, but obviously all of these, well, I say all of these, this one, these two, and the 2 ladder rungs have both got to have the notches cut out for these pieces to fit into. They're all going to be 25mm deep notches, so that I can basically then screw them in from the end and glue them as well. I used to pocket hole fit them, but it made a little bit of a mess on the other side. These are going to attach to that top of that ladder rung with a screw from the back. These here are 3 ladder rungs, and then there's a brace for the bottom where there'll be like a bracket to screw that down to the floor. As I said, this has got to be very strong. And then this here, this is 2 end pieces that are going to have the same notches as that, and basically where this side panel comes and ends in the window recess, or in line with the window recess, this then is going to be just fitting onto this end at the end of the mattress. The room is so small that this is actually going to be inside that window recess, obviously only by 38mm, and then the curtain will tuck behind it. Bespoke made for the mattress and for the room, so it should maximise the amount of space in there. So the advantage of having all those parts cut is that I can really make sure that these checkouts that I'm cutting really fit nicely. Try and do this with one hand while I'm filming, but look at that. Yeah, so I can line that up with the piece that is actually going to be in there. There is going to be very, very subtle differences to the thicknesses of these. It should be 63 by 38, but it's never going to be bang on. And obviously when you're making your cuts, there's going to be very slight differences. But I've just been able to creep up on this checkout, and that's just friction fitted, no glue, no screws, nothing. I've just been able to squeeze that in there, and that's going to be a lovely joint. Right, so I've done a dry fit. I put it all up, stood it all together, done the end panel. I've actually finished that off. That one's going to be, as I said, because this is going to be in the window, I'm not going to chamfer the joints on there. But I have come up with a problem from the dry fit, which is why we do it. For some reason, this end piece, this joint, for some reason it hasn't cut straight. So if you look at it, I don't know whether it shows up on camera really. Not really. But this corner isn't square. But this bit is. This is square to there. But for some reason, as I've cut it on the table saw, there must have been a slight bow in the length of that. And I must have leaned on this end when cutting most of it. And then because I've probably put too much pressure on this end, I think it's rocked over, and somehow it's managed to cut about 2mm, a mil or 2. It's gone a little bit deeper on the cutting, so I'm going to have to redo that whole piece. I have got enough spare, but I can't be having that. When I put it up against there, basically there was a gap at the top, just to exaggerate it a little bit and show you what I'm on about. The rest of it seems to have gone together really nicely. I've just got to chamfer all the places where there's joints. Right, so the dry fit was a success, and all I've got left to do really is the varnish coat, and then sand, probably another 1 maybe 2 coats of varnish with a sand in between. And then I've got a piece on the mitre saw just over here, which is going to get cut to length to be a support for here to go underneath. It's going to be offset from the end of the bed because there's a radiator and the windowsill and everything in the way. So we're going to offset that to just here past this side end post, and then that will go down to the floor, because obviously this corner is going to be pretty much cantilevered to a degree until that point. Of course the ladder is going to be there because the end wall in fact is probably not a solid wall, so the ladder is going to act as a structural support, and then we'll have another support piece here. Just show you a little close-up of the joints. So I've chamfered both sides, both the ladder rung and the stringer, so you can see it sort of highlights the joint. I quite like that look. This will be the very end. This is, as again, the room length. This is actually like where the wall is, so that's the full length of the room. And then those joints there are the same, and they'll all be screwed in from the back, those rails. The other thing I've done is I've put some pine caps on the screws here and there. So yeah, all looking good. Right, so because the room dimensions are so limited where this is going, I've actually put this together to a degree with the bed frame just to show again. So we've got the open section here, which will be the top of the ladder, and then the end of the rails, and then we'll come along. This fits really nicely into this corner, and it will be screwed in from the inside all the way along there. I just needed to see that it was all going to fit. I know I'd measured this side frame all the way to the end, and it was 1905 millimeters, which is exactly correct. But you know that to say, you know that thing about measure twice, check, you know, cut once. I'd hate to measure it, assume that it was correct, and then get there and go, oh shit, you know, and find that the angle was out or something like that, and it needed some sort of adjustment.